Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here. And we are coming to you from several studios, as a matter of fact. You're going to find this kind of fascinating. I'm coming from my studio at my home. Jeff Mosier, who you may not see on your screen, is at our studios at the Capital Region International Airport. And our guest, Bill Burke, author, coach, speaker, former Michigan State University quarterback, is coming from his studios. And so this is pretty cool. This is like tribe broadcasting, I guess. How you doing, Bill?
Good morning, Chris. Good to be with you. It's the magic of technology.
Yeah, I know. It's cool. And I saw your book in the background there. And by the way, fascinating stuff.
I appreciate you saying that. I took me a long time to do it, but I'm proud of it. So hopefully it has a positive impact on those who pick it up.
Oh, I think it absolutely will. So tell us a little bit about your career and kind of how you came to settle where you are.
Yeah, I've had kind of an interesting journey, but currently I'm a certified performance coach, keynote speaker, an author. I've got my own podcast called the Fortitude Forum, and I'm really passionate about helping aspiring high performers in sports and business really unlock their full potential. I think there's a high demand for the work that we do on ourselves, and I think a lot of times it gets overlooked and might be a little underestimated in terms of how we show up best in business or in sports or even for our families. So I'm passionate about that, and I've really been rewarded and fulfilled from doing a lot of that important work. And I believe, Chris, as I'm sure you do as well, that breakthroughs really begin beneath the skin. They don't occur when we hold up the championship trophy or we close that big business deal. It actually happens well before the world sees it.
It's interesting. I alluded to your book in the background, and for those of you who are looking at this, I want this to serve as kind of a hook to get them into your book, because the stuff that is in there is pretty fascinating. Tell us a little bit about what you tried to do with your book.
I was a college athlete at Michigan State. That career ended a couple decades ago, but when it did end, as we all know that it will, I found myself really lost, about what to do next, because my identity was so tied to that thing that I was always known for. And I didn't realize that, it's not about what we do, it's more about who we actually are. And at that point, I never had to actually do the work of figuring out who I really was as a human being and not just as an athlete or a competitor or a football player. So I know a lot of athletes go through that even now that there's a lot more awareness around those things. But I really wanted to just put into a book what I've learned since my time as an athlete has ended, because I think it'll help some of the people out there that while they're playing have all these resources around them, but once their playing days are done, a lot of those resources dry up and they think that or they feel like they're really in it alone. So hopefully there's some athletes out there that get a hold of it that can take one word or one sentence and really use that as a springboard to the next chapter in their lives.
Now, Bill, interestingly enough, you played for a mutual friend, Nick Saban, and
Yes.
That had to be an experience. Tell us a little bit about that, and maybe what his coaching style or leadership style, how that influenced you.
Yeah, well, he's had such a great impact on my life and all the players that he's coached. And, I learned so much from him, but really how to be a transformational leader instead of a transactional leader. He really helped me understand that as a leader, your own teammates are watching you. When you're laying on the field thinking that, you're going to die when you really just had the wind knocked out of you. The opposing team, your competitors are watching you to see how you're going to react. And, and being in the unique environment of Spartan Stadium, you've got 75,000 people who want to see how you're going to react and respond and perform. So I think that's translatable in business as well. So he's really helped reinforce those things to me even to this day.
Yeah. He's a very interesting guy. And through what we call our Business Sports Luncheon series, we've had a lot of different speakers. And we have not had Nick Saban, but we had a guy very much like him, Bo Schembechler. And the messages that he sent really clarified some things, in that the message he sent to his athletes was crystal clear. Here's the parameters. Here's how it works. Did you find that to be the case with Nick?
Absolutely. There was a very clear standard in his program, and it really comes down to, in business and sports, what is your standard and how does that bump up against what you're feeling like doing? We've got to do the thing that we know we need to do to get us the success that we want, even when we don't feel like it. And so he helped all of us young teenagers, college athletes, raise our standards and collectively come together to get as close to that ultimate goal that we all had as a team as possible. So again, I hear him in my head every single day.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us do, actually. Nick was very influential. Got about 30 seconds. Any, I guess, words of wisdom you might give to the athletes today that are going to make the transition you have?
Yeah, I would say don't think so much about what you're going to do. Think about who you could become. Because when you start to think in terms like that, the possibilities really show up as becoming endless. So I'm really passionate, and I want to give people that hope that they could really be anything and do anything ultimately that they want to do.
Bill Burke, author, coach, speaker, former Michigan State University quarterback under Nick Saban, and a very successful one, I might say. I had the pleasure of watching you play for many years. All right.
Well, thanks, Chris.
We're going to be back. I'm Chris Holman. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network.